And so Quentin, who tested it? Who was it tested out on first? Was it you, Brianna, or was it you, Quentin?
Whew, I think it was just together. It came full force together.
It was funny because now, ever since we wrote it, it's like now we kind of get at each other, confront the conflict,
Yeah.
confront the conflict.
And
And so in that way, it keeps it from being, like resenting something that's not resolved, right? So you're able
Yes,
to
perfect.
talk it through, get it off your, as I say, get it off your chest, just get it done with, and not going to, and you hear this all the time, not going to bed upset with each other. So that
Right.
brings it to the table, talk about it and get it over with. That how I know, Quentin, you were gonna say something. How do you take that information, being that you said that you're an introvert, and be able to apply it and communicate what it is that you're feeling being an introvert?
so it just pushes me to elevate beyond who I used to be. It just elevates me beyond staying at a balanced level. I have to elevate in order to have a successful marriage. And when I notice, like when you look back and you take time and reflect, most times when it's a conflict, a lot of times it's really not that serious. It's something that I mean, in a year, we truly learn that some stuff is not worth.
It ain't worth fighting for. Like we literally have encompassed that phrase, pick your battles. Like
Yeah.
we honestly can say we've learned, you know what, I really want to say this about his little shirt, but I'm not gonna say nothing about that shirt. I'm just gonna hush. So,
Because it's a challenge when two, especially when I know some relationships, they are live-in boyfriend girlfriend prior to getting married, but we were not. So we really had to learn each other. I mean, the first year is just learning.
just straight learning. Yeah.
And just figuring it out along the way, but you're doing it in the space of love, right? You're doing it because
Yeah.
you want to learn more about the person. You're intrigued of how the person just take on life, and you're learning things, right? I'm sure you learn stuff from your wife, and she learned from you. And so, but it's interesting, especially with introverts, a lot of times, the communication, and I'm partly introvert, and so if we're not careful, we'll just kind of like stay quiet, or okay, I'm not even going to get participate in this conversation. But what you were saying, Brianna, it makes perfect sense. You got to bring it, you got to confront it, you got to bring it to the table, and then get it over with, and clarify. Sometimes it's just a confusion, right? It's just
Right.
sometimes you
Right.
like, what are we even arguing about this? So
Yes.
how have you taken that information and not only apply it to yourself, but how have you shared that with other people?
Man, so honestly, the book was initially birthed, of course, because of us. But we actually have had conversations with individuals in marriages or just relationships where the conflict was so heavy that they literally went to silent mode. And I mean, silent mode is good,
Wow.
but you have to also choose, okay, I'm gonna be silent for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, but I still gotta confront this. And so in essence, us having those real life conversations with our friends and family allow for us to write this quick guide, but also be a help to them to really say, hey, I know he or she got you upset today, but is it really going to matter tomorrow? Is it really going to matter? And so I think that when we continue to have those real conversations, like, I know you mad at him, but give it 5 minutes and just clear the air. I know you mad at her, but did you check yourself? Because maybe you really did do something to make her mad. And so we have those real conversations, and it's a cycle of effective communication is what we're really trying to push to people. Like, just talk it out, man.
Yeah. Yeah. It's and if especially if the relationship matters, right? And you just
Yes.
want to, you look, you got to go to Hawaii next week, and you don't want to take this battle over to Hawaii, right? So
I
you need
know.
to communicate all this. Let's get all this out, because when I'm on the beach, I don't want to hear about, where I left the toothpaste without the cap on. I mean, you're right. It's important to go ahead and just clarify the clear the air, and then be able to move on, because there's a whole lot of big things that I'm sure you and want to do as a couple. You want to do for your marriage and for your next generation. I mean, tell us a little bit about even how did you get to this path of what it is that you do now.
Um, we got to this path just by simply communicating. Um, there would be things that we would see in the media and the headlines, and it's funny because it seems like we just have a normal podcast just around the house sometimes, because we reflect so much on things so that we can be better on approaching it. And you know, as I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, when you don't deal with conflict, you begin to create, that's the creation to war. So
Mm.
in order to be good communicators and be able to resolve conflicts, we communicate throughout our day. And it stemmed from just talking.
That
And
was the foundation of us. Like, we initially started talking through a Glide app. And so the communication level had to be real, had to be honest. I mean, it was points and times where me and Q had to kind of step away. So like the foundation of how we got back connected really is what really pushed us to this status that you see in front of your screen, because it was a lot of conflicts that we had to confront before we even said I do. And I think
Mm.
people really have to recognize that the I do is pushing some stuff out of you. I do push stuff out of you. So you got to know this person right here is going to be a mirror. They're not a brick
Yeah.
wall. They're a mirror. They are going to see the stuff that you think ain't there. They like, you nasty. Like, you got a bad attitude. They going to call you out versus yourself. You'll be like, oh, let me put on some foundation. I'm okay. But this person, they're going to tell you you're not okay. And so I think that because we were able to build a foundation of friendship prior to the marriage, it built a authenticity and an understanding that I'm not
Mm.
here to hurt you. I'm here to help you.